Hi guys, welcome back. If you haven't noticed anything different about me, I chopped off my hair. I actually cut off like 8 inches of hair. I made a little short about it. You can see the transformation in that video. I've had my hair short before, I've had it every color, but for summer I just wanted a refresh. And that's actually kind of the theme of today's video, is the way I change my beauty routine, my makeup routine for summer. I don't know about you, but as we approach summer, I want things to feel fresh and easy, but I also want them to be long lasting, especially when it comes to my makeup. So I'm gonna talk about techniques I use and also skin prep to get that long wearing but really beautiful natural look. It may not necessarily be effortless, but it's going to look effortless. The hair is feeling cute, but I am gonna pin it back, and I truly cannot state this enough when it comes to summer makeup. Skin prep is everything. I always get a lot of questions from you guys about skin prep, but I don't always do it on camera, and I'm like, we should be doing this more. Today's video is actually sponsored by Tula. I'm super excited to be working with them on the release of their new clarifying tonic, alcohol-free daily toner. This just launched. It's super exciting because it's great for all skin types, and I'm going to show you how I use it in a routine, in like a 4-step routine to prep for the makeup. So I already cleansed my skin with their fragrance-free cult classic purifying face cleanser. This is a gel cleanser, and I'm starting with bare skin just so you can actually see everything go on. Let me show you the texture of this cleanser. It's actually a very satisfying gel texture. So the thing I love about this is that it's like a really rich gel cleanser. You can see it moving down my hand there. It has this nice like viscosity to it. So the thing is, with certain gel cleansers, I feel like they just slide off your face. This one, it actually like sticks to your face and you can work it around the skin to get that really nice cleansing action. And I love that it's fragrance free. So I already did that before sitting down to film this. Let me just wipe this off my hands real quick. So the canvas is clean. Now I'm gonna move on to the clarifying tonic. So what I like to do is take a little bit on a cotton pad and just soak it. I'm gonna swipe this across my skin. You could just pat it in with your hands, but I like the control. And the nice thing about this is it actually really packs a punch. So it has niacinamide, which is going to help tighten the appearance of pores and just with general brightness. It also has lactic acid, which is going to help brighten and exfoliate, and it helps products sink in better. I like to get really kind of in between the cracks around my nose. It also has witch hazel and antioxidants, and it's alcohol free. So it really does pack a punch. It's clinically proven to shrink the appearance of pores and to brighten the skin tone and even the skin tone overall. So toner's done, and now I'm gonna go into their new fragrance-free probiotics and superfoods moisturizer. This is the moisturizer. Just look at how delicious this texture is. It's so satisfying. So I just take a little bit and I like dot it around my face. I love that this is fragrance free. I've used it morning and night. The nice thing about this is it feels like it is really deeply hydrating. Oily skins need hydration too, but it's not so heavy under makeup. I do pile it on a little bit more at night, but you guys know I have sensitive skin. You can probably tell it gets red even when I'm like applying moisturizer in, that'll fade. But I love a fragrance-free option, especially for under makeup. I feel like it gives my skin just a nice glow, a nice bounciness, and it's like perfectly balanced. And then the last step is the Glow and Get It Eye Balm. I love this thing. It wears really nicely under makeup, and you can also just apply it directly around the eyes. I even apply it on my lids. It's not too heavy, it's not overly rich, but I feel like it gives you that hydration and it allows the makeup to sit really nicely on top. It also just feels so good to apply it. I feel like I get a little bit of like eye massage. I do have a discount code with Tula. I'll flash it on screen, and everything will be in the description box, as always, with links. So we're gonna get into the makeup now. I have a few new things I'm using, as well as some old favorites that I just have to have, like summertime essentials. So I applied SPF off camera. Let's talk about multi-priming. I'm a big fan of this, especially as someone with combo skin, but it's oily in the summer, but I still want glow. If you're like me, it can be tough to find that balance of long wear and glow. So what I like to do is I prime with different primers on different parts of my face. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Universal Blurring Balm. I literally just take like this much on the back of my nail. You could use a spatula if you want to be a better person than me. And then I literally just dot a little bit on my nose, a little bit around my mouth, and a little bit between my brows. I feel like you're gonna notice that it's a big theme of this video that you have to work in really light layers. The worst thing is when you get makeup sort of like separated and melted around your nose. That's like a big problem area for me. And I also wear sunglasses all the time, and I hate when they pick up around the nose. So priming that area where the pads of your sunglasses go is absolutely key for me. And if you have any visible pores in that T-zone, that's where I prime with this as well. Also like this as an eyeshadow primer. I also love my other eyeshadow primers, but this one holds on really well. And then I'm gonna go in with a new product. This is the Dior Forever Glow Maximizer. And I got this in the shade Peachy. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna do a sort of underpainting, luminizing thing with this and the Dior Star Filter. I've already talked about this a bunch, but basically I'm going to take literally a dot of it, and this is the shade 2. It comes in multiple shades, but I'm gonna dot right on the tops of my cheeks, sort of in a C shape. I'm gonna take the Peachy Illuminator. Here, I'll show you a swatch of it actually, because you haven't seen this yet, but it is so pretty. It almost has like a peachy duochrome in it. I'm gonna use it almost as a blush, so I'm gonna go right under that. And then I'm gonna take my Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N17, and starting with that original Star Filter, I'm just going to work it in very thin layers. The key is not to use a lot of product, and we're dipping into the peachy shade last. Just working across the top of the cheekbone and then blending in that peachy shade. It's so pretty. It has this really warm, slightly iridescent quality to it. I feel like it's actually gonna be perfect for underpainting. See how it just brought some light to my cheeks? The reason why I love something like this is that it gives you the glow without the texture, without tackiness, without stickiness or glossiness, and you're able to work in really thin layers. So I'm matte where I want to be matte, I'm glowy where I want to be glowy, and then I'm going to go in with a foundation, and this is key. It's a waterproof foundation. This is the Dior Backstage foundation in the shade, what do I have? 2 Warm Olive. This foundation does not budge. There are other waterproof foundations. I just love this because it gives me the longevity that I need while still remaining super skin-like. It's meant for runway, so it's meant to withstand like movement, models walking on the runway. It's also for face and body, so it's meant to sort of move with you, and I love the flexibility of it. So I have a small amount. I'm actually going to use my finger and sort of work it, dot it around the face, keeping the coverage more towards the center of my face where I have redness. So I'm making sure that I get really even application. I also have some redness along my jawline personally at the moment, almost like I'm spreading it out before I work it in with the brush. And I do feel like my skin is feeling really smooth, glowy, evened out because of the skin prep. Then I take my brush, same brush, and I'm literally just smoothing out the streaks. So basically with my finger, I kind of applied a really thin layer, and then I'm just blending and setting this down with the brush. And I feel like the technique, the application technique is really important here. So you don't have clumps of like thick foundation in some places, not in others. It really prevents over applying. There's nothing worse than feeling like you have cake face in the summertime, you know? I'm curious if you guys have things that you do to sort of shift between seasons of spring and summer going into the warmer months, like what changes in your makeup routine. So the coverage is light, the glow is there. I just use that one like squeeze of foundation. Now we're gonna go into concealer, and you do not wanna use a lot of concealer for this. I feel like the nice thing about using that illuminator underneath the foundation is it gives you light reflection. It's not going to color correct, but because it already reflects back light to the eye, you don't need to use as much concealer. So I'm going in with the Haus Labs concealer, But the key is use an eyeshadow brush to blend. This is the Persona like double-ended brush. I'm just gonna use the fluffy side, and I'm just going to quite literally like whisk the product around. Even that is more than I need. You can like wipe off as you go. The House coverage, the House Labs concealer has really good coverage, so you don't need a lot. And the point, again, is to just make that little bit of product spread out really far. And I can tell in the areas where I put that smoothing primer down, it's just gliding over the skin. It's taking like no work to blend at all. Even wiping a little bit off here. So overall, I just feel like it looks lifted, brightened, and just like tighter. Same thing on this side. I also bring a little bit into the inner corner and the eyelids. The fluffiness of the eyeshadow brush, I feel like really helps distribute product, so it's not too thick in one spot. And then I always like to add a little bit of concealer around my mouth and nose where I just naturally have some more redness. I have a little breakout there, all normal things. I feel like it's actually harder to do a really good looking natural base than to do full coverage makeup, in my opinion. And I think it's just because it takes a little bit more effort. But yeah, I feel like these tricks just make the skin look so good and they look real. Like I obviously have makeup on, but you don't lose the natural, beautiful texture of your skin. And obviously these are things that you could do with any of the products you already have. It's not product specific, it's really technique specific. So the base is done for now. It looks like skin. I still feel like I look like myself. It really glided on over the skin prep. Now we're gonna talk about layering powders and creams. You know, I love my cream cheek products, but sometimes they get a little bit too dewy for the summertime. So I switch out the more emollient creams, like the more oil-based cream cheek products, for more dry consistency cheek products. So an example of that is the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. This is a really interesting formula. It's kind of like a creme to powder finish. It has a super airbrush quality to it, and because of that, it's not too greasy. It doesn't move around on my skin. For example, the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. That one is beautiful, but it's definitely dewy. You'll see that when I apply this, it has almost a powdery matte dry down, and that's what makes it last all day long. So I'm gonna take my Make Beauty angled brush, and you can see the consistency of it. It looks like I've barely used it, but you don't need a lot. I have the shade medium, by the way. Yeah, number 2 medium. So we're just going for a bronzy look. I'm not sculpting too much. I just like tap to apply. It has a beautiful warm undertone to it. But do you see what I mean? Like there's illuminator right here and underneath this, but it's not reflecting back light. There's no glow inherent in the formula. So I feel like this is a really nice way to get that cream bronzer blendability and formula without the dewiness, and it also makes it long lasting. And then I'm gonna apply powder on top of this very, very lightly. And keeping in mind that I am gonna use powders on top, I just keep this application really, really light and fresh. It's super diffused. I feel like it makes any textured skin look really soft because it's not reflecting back light. Like if you have visible pores or breakouts or anything, this formula is super forgiving. So then I'm gonna go into blush, and we're gonna go in again with the creams and liquids first and then powders. Freck actually just reformulated their Cheek Slime liquid blush. If you haven't used these before, they're really, really beautiful and they're super easy to work with. They're so fun. They look like this. They have 3 new shades. I don't think I'm gonna use all 3 shades today. I'll save that for another video, but they have a new shade that I really wanna use called Love Flush. This is Love Flush, so you kind of open the cap. It's so cute. They're actually like paints, and it's a really pretty pinky coral. So I am actually just going to blend it out on the back of my hand. You can see it's pretty bright. I also love this formula because it's super long lasting. Even the way it blends out, you can tell it's creating a really diffused finish, and it's not gonna be dewy or emollient. There isn't a lot of like greasiness in here. and it sets down and does not move. I actually used the shade Cuff for my elopement in Palm Springs a couple of years ago. It was over 100 degrees that day. The blush did not move. So I really trust this formula. Like even now, I can tell it's set down and it's not moving anymore. It's the wildest thing. So I'm just gonna squeeze out a little bit more, create an even layer, and then I'm gonna take the same brush, pick it up off the back of my hand, and then apply it to the cheeks. And I think I do want to go on the apples of my cheeks. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I find that I'm liking that really like youthful, full center of the cheeks look. I used to hate that because I've always had really round cheeks my whole life. But now that I'm getting older, in my 30s, I'm like, oh, I want to look fresh and youthful like a baby cherub. And then without applying any more, I kind of stamp what's left on the brush into my temples and across the forehead just to create some cohesion. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the powder cheek products. I have the largest powder brush of all time. This is by Lawless. I like this because I'm gonna go into the Chantecaille bronzer, their Serena Real Bronze, and I'm gonna lightly pick it up, and I'm not looking for a heavy application. I'm literally just using it to set the cheek products, specifically to set the bronzer. So it's so fluffy. It applies hardly any product, but it applies a wide sort of surface area of product. And I'm quite literally just tapping across the cheeks. I'm laughing because it's like comically large, but it also is so soft. And it ensures that you're not over applying in any one place. And I'm just tapping and then like stamping across the forehead. Then I have something super exciting. Fenty Beauty sent over their new Demi Glow, what are these called? Light diffusing highlighters. This is the shade O2 Prosecco. It has this like peachy champagne warm quality to it. So I'm actually gonna take the other side of this brush, but you can use any highlight brush. You guys know I'm super, super picky about powder highlighters, but there's something super creamy and just like soft and diffused about this. It's in the name. So I pick up a little bit, I kind of wipe it off on my hand, and I'm literally just going to buff in circles just to kind of set that highlighted area. I'm not even adding a lot of pigment, but I just want it to look really smooth. I feel like if you sort of barely touch it to the skin and whisk it around, you're almost like polishing the skin. It gives you a very satisfying, smooth effect. And then I'm gonna go in with powder blush last. It's actually a tip that I picked up from Gabby, who's a makeup artist, because once you add powder and highlighter and blush, it can kind of feel a little bit stripy. So she was saying that actually adding bronzer, then highlighter, then blush to blend everything together in the middle creates a more cohesive look, which totally makes sense, of course. So then I'm gonna go into my House Labs blush. You guys know I've been loving this. This is in French Rosette, which I feel like goes with this corally shade. I'm taking a Rephr 05, and again, I'm not picking up a lot of product. I'm picking some up, I'm working it into the brush, because I'm really using it almost as a colorful setting powder. Does that make sense? This isn't your only blush. We already have a lot on. I'm literally using it to sort of blend everything together, and you want to let the brush do the work for you. I feel like this technique started to make more sense for me once I started to think of the powder products as setting products, almost like setting powder on top of the liquid versus like applying blush. You're literally using it to blend and buff. And then the final base step obviously is powder, but at this point, because you've used the powder cheek products, the highlighter, the blush, the bronzer, you actually really don't need a lot of powder. And I feel like I used to just cake on so much powder in the summertime to control oiliness. But once I started using this layering creams and powders technique, I really only need powder in my T-zone and not on other areas of my face. So I have my CL SPF 50 powder, or SPF 30, I think. Let me check. Yeah, SPF 30. I wear the shade O2. And I just take a little powder brush. I like a small one. And I'm just like stamping it into the areas where I need. But I feel like actually my cheeks are already set. And I just need to set around my nose, my mouth, my chin, along the jawline a little bit, and across the eyes. But a lot of the setting work has already been done for me, which is amazing. Okay, for eyes, I'm gonna go into like a silver glitter eyeliner, but I'm just gonna add a little bit of matte shadow in the sort of crease area to contour and sculpt the eyes a little bit. I've really been feeling a pop of glitter liner specifically for summer with like a bold lip. So that's what we're gonna do. I do feel like when I'm wearing like a colorful liquid liner, I sort of need a matte eyeshadow up top, even if it's not a lot of color, to prevent that transfer from happening because I have oily eyelids. And then we're gonna go in with this bad boy. This is the Half Magic Beauty Glitter Pill in the shade Sweet Prince. Look how fun that is. It's like silver and blue and purple and pink. So it has like a liner nub on it. And we're just gonna keep it really simple and fresh. And I'm just gonna line along my lash line. This formula is great because it allows you to apply glitter and the glitter stays in place. It's like a built-in glitter glue. I just remembered I said I was gonna do silver, but I'm really feeling this like purple lavender glitter. So I'm just gonna build that up actually. Okay, now that that's dried, I'm just gonna curl my lashes and then we're gonna go into a tubing mascara, which is absolutely essential. I've really been loving the Clio Kill Lash Superproof Mascara in number 4. That's their tubing option. The other ones are water resistant. They're nice for summer, but I feel like the tubing mascara is the only way that I can guarantee that there won't be smudges, especially as I'm like sweating, I'm oilier. It's just something I personally need to have. I think I've had this tube open now for a couple of weeks and it's just getting better and better. I love that it gives me length and volume. I'm able to comb through my lashes and create a really fluttery look. And I've noticed the longer I've had it open, the better it is at holding a curl. So eyes are done. I have a new shade of the Prada lipstick that I picked up and it's so beautiful. It's the soft matte formula in the shade P155. I think it's called Blush. And the reason why I grabbed it, my hand has blush all over it. Let me just swatch on my non-dominant side. So this is the shade. It's so beautiful. It has this like kind of 60s vibe to it. I think because there is white in the formula, it makes it seem more pastel and it pops on the lips. But when I wear a matte lipstick and I want long wear in the summer, I apply and then I blot and then I apply again. And something about creating that base layer across the lips makes it even more long lasting. So I love this formula already. I already knew I would love this. So I apply a very, very thin layer, just that like little bit, maybe a little bit more on top. This is already a very long wearing formula to begin with, and it has this beautiful like diffused cloud-like blend. I've talked about it a bunch. So then I blot, and it really doesn't take off a lot of product because there wasn't a lot of product to begin with. But it gives you this like buildable base. I know a lot of makeup artists do this. And then I apply the way I want to. See what I mean? It has this like brightness to it. And then I sort of want a blurred lip. So I'm gonna take my BK Beauty Nikki N12 brush and just blend out the edges. I feel like I'm gonna be wearing this lipstick shade all summer long, personally. I'm just into the pinks. And then of course, we're gonna finish everything off with a setting spray. I actually have a new favorite setting spray. I don't know if it's trumped the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray for me, but I'm really enjoying it. It's the Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray for clean, hydrating, long wear. It's really beautiful because the mist is so fine and I feel like there's maybe less alcohol in this one, but it's still giving me that long wear quality without maybe feeling quite as tight while giving me a super fine mist. So you shake it up and I'm gonna mist everywhere basically. The thing I like about this too is that sometimes the Charlotte Tilbury mist can dry a little bit shiny. Interestingly, this one feels a little bit more hydrating, but it's still long wearing. So here's the makeup finished. I wanted the skin to feel luminous, to feel fresh, and to be long wearing. I know that layering the creams and powders is going to make this super long lasting. A couple of eye tricks to make the eyeliner long lasting, the mascara long lasting, as well as the lips. And I also know that my skin is prepped. It's gonna stay hydrated. It's not gonna dry out, but it's not gonna get greasy either with the skin prep that we did with the primer as well as the Tula skincare. So that's it. If you have any questions for me or anything you wanna share about how you switch over your summer routine, definitely let us know in the comments. I'm always here for more tips and tricks. Again, I'll have everything timestamped linked below as well as the Tula code. If it was your first time here, then I would love for you to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Bye.